Okay, hello boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Right, we've got another evening of TipTop EU Open Scrims. We're covering Lobby A this evening, and so a lot of teams that we recognise in the lobby. We're just a few minutes away from the getting into the lobby. Looks like most people are now in their slots. First of all, need to introduce my co-caster for this evening, good old Jammy Gaming. How are we doing, Jammy?
Oh, very good, thank you. Jammy Gaming is currently stuffing his face with pizza because he forgot he was going live any second.
Cool, cool.
Nothing, yeah, all good, all good. Looking forward to a good night's scrims.
The well-tuned professional there, mate.
Oh, nothing but professional.
Says Vime slugging down a beer, yeah.
This one not sponsored by Red Bull, then.
Ah, dear. So, yep, as I say, not too far away. Our first match will be on Erringle. Yeah, obviously big game news this week, Jammy, in PUBG with the loss of the Vikendi map and Karakin coming. Certainly, I'm going to miss the Vikendi map, certainly one that I enjoyed covering scrims on, but we'll have to remain a little bit open-minded, see what our new map brings us.
Yeah, let's not hate it by default. It might be the best thing that's ever happened to the game. We are both operating on the assumption it won't be.
No, well,
because we love Vikendi.
Do love Vikendi. It does lend itself to some exciting gameplay in scrims, I have to say. But I mean, as long as the new map is exciting and we get good footage from it, then I'll still be happy. So, so it does look like we're going to hit the lobby, and now Vimes has to almost mute his microphone whilst you crazy lunatics all start shooting, which is always a very, very nice thing to hear through your headset as you're trying to cast. So yeah, prepare yourself for that one.
That was a bit of a surprise for our friend Vimes last week.
I think it's a couple of weeks.
I hadn't warned him a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, when they first did the update.
Yeah, I hadn't
warned him about that.
Yeah, I hadn't been on since the update, and then all of a sudden I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So yeah, that was fun.
So it looks like we've got a nice full lobby, 80 players, so yeah. 20 teams. Nobody missing.
Yep, that's our countdown, and it looks like we're... Yeah, there we go, we're on the plane. Okay, so let's have a look at our flight line, Jammy, and we're going from west down to a mill-based island. So yeah, not well between Gatka and Quarry. So that's going to be a very interesting. We'll expect to see quite a few people on mill-based island, I'd have thought.
Oh, definitely, and Vikendi might be going, but the Vikendi flight lines are going to leave a legacy here. That's an unusual flight line for Erringle. Pretty brutal, southern, very southern, but not even reaching as far as Milta.
Yep. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, we've got quite a few early jumpers, Jamie.
We have, and it's not surprising because we're going to see a lot of teams heading up to Georgia Pole, Primrose. A lot of teams going to be heading to areas where they know they can get a vehicle, I think, and heading up to the north of the map. Probably going to see some people. There'd probably be a bit of early action around Milta, wouldn't surprise me, because you'll probably get 2 or 3 teams that would normally jump to that location anyway. But I think we'll probably get a couple of teams that are going to go and try and head for the vehicles that are normally around Milta.
Yeah, definitely. I'd imagine there'll be people virtually trying to land on vehicles. So looks like we've got at least one, maybe 2 teams heading to the northern end of the bridge, I think. One squad, that's OP. They've dropped actually into the mill base. Looks like they've got the mill base themselves.
Yes, I mean, even though, these teams all have their set locations, but with a flight line as unusual as that, I thought you might have a couple more teams chancing their arm on a milli-based drop.
And 7 Ravens have got Novo. Let's have a quick look up to George Pole Craig.
They haven't. They've carried on. They've carried on to the mainland. Right. 7 Ravens, actually. They didn't drop at Novo. But between Farm and Milton, we've got about 6 different teams.
Come on, lag. Here we go. I just love these game lags right at the beginning. Come on, come on.
Yeah, you can do it. Come on. If you believe and your heart is pure and all that. Well, just to let you know, I'm having the same issues on mine. Just the early game. It's really annoying, the early game lag, because you try and just change players to see if you can refresh it, and you just go to a different player that's running into a wall.
Yeah. So we're here
But
with RS0 and Phenomenal Esports.
yeah, phenomenal. Already lost a player. Toxic IGL has gone down already. Now these guys are fighting well outside zone, because zone has popped, and it actually includes the whole of the military base and a lot of the southern coast. It's a zone to match the flight line.
So here we are with Mals getting some rounds in towards the opposition. Hasn't managed to loot up with a helmet. Not too bad. Managed to get herself a Vector. Here we go, but dropped instantly there and thirsted up fairly ruthlessly. So looks like our friends from the Esports up against it, but some great DP28 work coming in there. Oh, yeah, if he's going down.
That's the benefit of having more rounds there, able to not only take down the player, but get the thirst on as well.
So Athena doing some great work, avenging dead teammates. Now certainly got a look at T20 there. So does a quick drive by the window. Took a bit of damage on the way in.
Something you'll appreciate though, didn't hang around immediately, shoot, move.
Absolutely. Now, do we have a push coming? We certainly do, and I think he was.
Wow, what a defense.
He did well there. I thought he'd been caught out whilst he was getting his bandages in.
Yeah,
but he did very well there, straight off the top of the building. Good. Oh no, it's knocked him.
No.
It's knocked him.
He had to get out of there, but his teammate has got to step up now. He's opened the door. He's making sure his teammate can get in the building. So
here we go.
Comes the push now.
Great defensive work, good work with the AK there. Gets the thirst on immediately. That'll give the last remaining player on the opposite team a moment of pause, I'd imagine. Now his teammate is still down next to him. Should be able to get the revive on here though, but he's got to be careful because he's exposed from this window and door.
Yeah, really careful here. So this is the one where he's got to... he's fully healed up, which is a good thing. So he's made sure he can withstand a couple of shots.
He's got to break off.
It's inevitable.
He's got to break off the res there because the guy came through the window. He had to push. There's no way he wanted him to get two guns up. Oh, and Kevs manages to clear that one up with just a few hit points remaining. So some fantastic work by Athena earlier on with a DP28, and Kevs clearing that one up there. Some fantastic work from Phenomenal Esports. They did lose two players, Jamie, but really great gun skills by these two players.
Yeah, really good work. They off to immediate disadvantage, but some really good work. Unfortunate with the dropout to get knocked, but that was pretty inevitable. But he had to get away because he knew he was in a bad position.
So, yeah, some great early action there.
So the next action now, I said we've got a few teams over by. We've got two teams at Milta, Raw and DS, but then to the west of there, we've got, I think that's actually three different teams over to the west of Milta, just north of the mini base bridge. We've got Team 19. I'm just checking some of the team numbers. There we are. Vini Vidi Vici.
Yeah, looks
team
like they're
22, RS2, and also we've got the CRB team. Crazy Robot Bear.
Well, CRB have just taken a few kills, so they're up to 3 now.
I'm trying to work out, that must be Vini Vidi Vici, because Paul is the last remaining player, and he's actually currently with the VSS putting in some really good work into this team from the high ground.
So CRB managing to pick up another kill there. Our friend here getting out some throwables. He knows he's got a player from squad number 19 not too far away. One of his teammates is not.
Yeah, so Paul from Vidi Vidi Vici, the player in between the two teams has been taken out, but Paul's actually putting in a load of VSS fire from the top of the building. What he's doing is not just blindly shooting, he's actually single tapping the VSS. So being pretty careful with his ammo. I don't know if he's low on ammo, maybe. I'll just say, I don't know if it's a Discord issue, but I don't hear any game sounds. It might be a Discord issue.
Okie dokie. I'm certainly getting them through my headset.
Okay.
Oh, bear with.
Then it's a Discord thing. But yeah, so Paul from Vini Vidi Vici, we'll call them Vici, I think.
It is Vidi
I
Vidi.
think he's about to come under a bit of pressure here because the CRB team have actually moved up to the buildings in front of him.
Yeah.
They're getting a bit more aggressive here.
We're going to have a play with that sound thing a little bit later, but I just want to cover this. I'm certainly getting it through my headset. I'm hoping it's coming through on the stream.
I think it is. I think it's just through what I'm hearing. So don't worry about it. Yep. I've just checked the stream and the sounds are coming through the stream fine. So a little bit of live maintenance there, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, let's have a look at our situation. So the zone has popped and Millbase still featuring very strongly going forward into the game. We're down to 58 players, 17 teams left alive. Nobody really going to have too much difficulty, I wouldn't have thought.
But look at 7 Ravens over to the east. They're the ones that jumped over Novo crates. So they jumped all the way over towards Milta. Now, they don't have far to go, but the issue they've got is they've got CN1 and Raw in front of them. So whether they're going to rotate round, I'm not sure if they've got a vehicle, but they've got a couple of very aggressive teams between them and Zone.
Here we are with our friends from... And that is one of the players from Raw getting absolutely hammered as he was driving past there by our friends from squad number 8. That's Astralis. We have covered these guys before. We know them to be a very aggressive team.
Apologies, I called them CM1. They've got one of the players has got a CM1.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, some great work from those guys.
And immediately the push comes in. Look at that. They take one. It just takes one to get the invitation to push. And I think Vanix is about to receive a little present.
But oh, beautiful! He was using the old third-party peak mechanism, and he knew when he came out for that nade, got the headshot in. That was some great work from Vanix there.
And his teammate took down another player from DS as well. Really good work.
Heard the nade, managing to find himself some cover. So doing some great work from up on this rooftop here, Vanix.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought he was about to eat a nade, but no, he went on the aggressive instead.
However, numbers are against our friends from Raw here, but we shall see how this one turns out. Looks like the guys from Australis are consolidating a little. And boom, that was a very nice nade. Took a big chunk of health off. Doesn't quite manage to establish the knock. Another one comes in.
The Noodle, his teammate, is just in the building behind and he's trying to provide support with the M4. But it's difficult because, as we can see, he's got 4 players. They're getting the revive onto CN1 Mai. And so I think either Vanix is going to have to retreat back or Noodle's going to have to come and join the fight, I think. I don't think it's time for support now.
And unfortunately, had his back turned exactly the wrong time and got knocked there. So now Noodle has got to put up with the rest of these guys on his own, but establishing a great knock there with the AK. There's another player out in the open here. But here comes the very aggressive push.
And this time they know exactly where he is. So he's not going to have a chance to mess around here. He needs to get this done. Oh, he's down to 5 HP. He's a little landmine.
Tried to leave the sneaky nade, but...
He takes down 2 of the players.
He
Oh, it's
does.
only because XT was still a lot up and going that he didn't wipe the squad then. He took
That
down
was.
2 of the players with a little landmine of a nade.
Yeah, the nade that bounced off the wall. He didn't quite make it out the window, but that nade did its business as they went for his box. He made them pay for that one just as well. One of their team was up on his feet there. That was a cheeky little move, but it was fun to watch.
Oh, I do like that. Oh, that was epic.
Yeah.
Now, over on the Western Millibase Bridge, we've got Beef Born for Victory and Team 23. There was back to the top, B3T. Now, they're on the opposite sides over the bridge. So back to the top are actually across the bridge as well. B4V currently holding position on the northern side. And then we've got OP who took the Millibase. They're actually on the southern end of the bridge.
Yeah, here's our situation at the moment. We're down to 53 players left alive, 15 teams still in the game at this point. It's only phase number 2. Had some pretty exciting gunfights early game though, which sometimes, I mean, game number 1 air angle can be a little cagey to begin with. But no, these guys decided they're coming out fighting, so that's what we like to see.
Oh, definitely. And I think the fact we had quite an unusual flight line combined with a very, very southern first zone has condensed everyone when normally there'd be a bit more spread about the map. And at the moment, we still don't know if it's going to be a mini base or a mainland finish. Chances are it's mini base, but there's still a lot of potential for these teams that have come south to have made the wrong decision.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. Either way, I mean, you can see that people have taking up positions on these bridges because obviously with the map split like this, those bridges are going to be absolutely vital real estate.
Oh, definitely. Whichever way they're going, whether they're going onto or coming off the mini base, these bridges are going to be so important in probably the next phase, I'd say.
So we got our friends from was it Crazy Robot, Crazy Reboot? Yeah.
Crazy Robot Bear.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're being pushed by Team 16 though. The Teledub is CM1.
So here we are with Stupid Pig. Okay. In goes the Molly there.
Looks like they're getting ready for a push, standing by the stanchion there, just making sure he's going to be able to get over without too much delay.
Yeah, I think a nade goes through the window there. So yeah, these guys mean business.
And obviously we've seen CM1 many
and
times.
There's a flaming skeleton there.
Yeah.
Not something you see every day. Ruthlessly thirsted up.
That was pretty impressive work, and he waited until he saw that the throwables had taken effect, and then as soon as he saw the guy come out with, well, like you say, just on fire.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal stuff. And yes, look at this. So the guys who are on the, we still haven't. Well, I think we pretty much have established that we're most likely to end up on Millbase Island, but everybody who's on the Western Bridge now finding they have to rotate, especially those who are on the northern end of that bridge. So this real estate that CN1 have taken for themselves or trying to establish here, certainly going to prove pivotal in the next phase of play.
Oh, definitely. That was really, it didn't take long to get those kills, and it wasn't a massive battle, but that is really important because they now hold position, and you can see some of the teams that perhaps were gambling that it wasn't going to go south. You know, teams up in the far north, like Team 11 there, KK, they're going to have a bit of distance to rotate, but they've got to make a choice now because they all know this eastern bridge is definitely being capped. Some lovely work there from 7 Ravens.
So we're here with 7 Ravens, and they've got elements of squad number 21, that's top. Also T2K as well, I think that's all.
Yeah. So these guys were over at Milta, so they managed to get across the bridge before it got camped. Camped is probably not the right word. But Yeah, they managed to make their way over, having a bit of a battle on the southern edge here. So anyone that makes it past CN1 is going to get involved with the 7 Ravens guys.
You see, and you can see guys from KK now on at the north. They're attempting to head to the bridge here. Now that could be very interesting. We've got at least 2-3 teams attempting to get across this bridge.
And that's the thing. The zone's coming in now, so you're going to come across the bridge. You've got teams camping it, and you've got the blue zone, and you're going to have a number of teams coming across. So it's sort of last man standing on this western bridge.
Our friend here is in the back of the truck now. He's got a hell of a view there. He's decided not to open fire just yet. He did have shots.
He needs to do that early before they get too close to him, because he's also in the blue, of course. So yeah, he's going to have at least 3 or 4
Here we go.
coming along, so he needs to do it quickly.
Absolutely beautiful work. What am I talking about? This fella knows his onions. Basically waited for them to think they were safe and then hit them as they were coming across the bridge. Obviously, yeah, I mean, it's only phase 3 of the game, so yes, the blue stings a little bit, but it's not going to prove hugely important so far. But that does make squad number 7, the Deathless 4 here. They're now in a very awkward position.
They are. Look at the northern edge of this bridge is a car park. Teams are queuing up just to try and decide whether they come along the bridge. And if they do, they're coming past a team that's already been smashed up.
And somebody else
here coming through.
Number 11 trying to push through.
Oh,
and
another one.
Our friend here doing even more good work.
And it's just becoming a car park of people who've been knocked, and their cars carry on for a few meters.
So he's set up a very, very effective bridge ambush there, and as Jamie says, that's making this very, very difficult. Our next circle's popped. We're definitely ending up on Millbase Island. We're down to 34 players left alive, 11 teams still contesting, and that's a lot of people got to move now, Jamie.
There's a lot of people into a very open zone. There's a little bit of cover. We can see some of the small houses and sheds, but generally it's a very open zone.
And looks like our friends here have decided to give up the bridge, and now they've got to rotate towards circle on foot. Now phase number 4, so the blue is going to start to hurt. Our friends from CN1 up the top there, they had what looked like a very good strategic location, but now going to find that they've got to move.
They are, and they're starting to move now. Yeah, all 4 of their team are still going. They did have a bit of a fight up on the northern side.
So here we are with B3T. They're trying to come in a circle. They know that they have... which team are they getting into it with? That's team number 5, 1%. That's Faith Killer.
So we've still got 1, 2 teams up on... Whoa.
A weirdo there, only just getting out of that by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, Zumi just getting out just in time of that burning. Well, that thing's going on its own.
Yeah, that was a good time to get out of the car, my friend. That was well timed.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, it's perfect timing. They're under a bit of a pressure now.
So the guys...
You can see various compounds being crashed now.
Yeah, the guys from squad number 7 taking a hold in this compound. But these guys are still all out of circle because our next circle has popped. We've got CN1 guys coming in from the east, and they should be able to get into circle actually fairly unopposed. It's this western side that's going to prove very, very difficult for people.
I think it's because they were holding that eastern bridge. They've only got 5 kills, but they obviously did a good job holding the eastern bridge because there's not many teams on the eastern side. Whereas we've got an absolute mismatch of teams, still 9 different teams going, and most of them seem to be on the western side.
So we've got Team Vixard. They're still up as a 4, and they've established themselves a good positioning zone here. Got themselves spread out a bit, covering multiple angles.
Could be important there, exactly as you said. They've got full team. They're in zone. They're the nearest to centre zone. If they can hold off those multiple angles, they're in a strong position.
We're here with Zay from CN1, putting out some tap fire with a Mini 14.
So that's actually helping Vixard as well.
A little bit,
Vixard are fighting 7 Ravens as well. So yeah, 7 Ravens, team 13, just slightly to the right of camera. They are stuck between Vixard and CN1. So CN1 taking shots at them means their attention is drawn away from Vixard, who are still, as we said, in very strong position. Team 21 there, UN top. They've lost a player and they've got one player down to very low health.
So our guys from 7 being pushed. We are very, very busy. Over here, Vixard got a nice location there, top of the hill.
You see how zone breaks for them, but they're in a very strong position as it stands. But they do have, back to the top, team 23, coming round on the high side behind them.
Beautiful tap kill there with the Mini 14. Just outside the circle, though, and there isn't a lot of cover to be had.
Oh, look how lucky CM1 are. They're on that eastern side. They're the only ones pretty much that are in zone. And they're the only ones that are in that southeastern side as well.
And the Deathless 4 really coming in under it as they try to make their way into the circle. CN1 still established themselves over on the southeastern side of the circle. Vixard look like they're getting into it now. But they've got quite a...
Getting into RS2 are really holding their progression up here.
So they've got they're somewhat 2-2 split at the moment, Vixard, but they're able to mutually support each other. And it looks like they've decided that one way or another they have to resolve this issue with squad number 22, RS2.
Yeah, Tempura takes down G-Man.
Oh, beautiful nade there.
Second nade there from Luzited.
So we've got 2 Vic guys down. Valiant attempt there, but great clear and should be able to get his teammates up. So Vixard will go in as a 3, but they now find themselves slightly out of circle, and this is all looking very good for TipTop, Jeremy. They've got the location at the moment.
Absolutely, Vixard had the location before, but he's now going to try and get the revive on. The zone's pushing in. He's only got a few seconds to get it done before the zone's going to push him. The rest of the CM1 edge of zone. And then we've got Team 21, UN top, who are now in zone. They've established a position.
And beautiful knock.
One of their team's just been taken down.
Beautiful knock established by CN1 there. And look at this situation that CN1 find themselves in. They've only got half of that house in the blue, but they're using it to their full advantage. Vixard now also getting involved, engaged with squad number 21. We've still got a couple of players there from 7 Ravens out on the periphery. So we're down to 3 teams now, guys. We're down to squad number 13, 7 Ravens, Vixard and CN1. And CN1 have managed to keep themselves alive as a 4 for the time being. And this actually looks like the fight between 7 Ravens and Vixard could prove to be absolutely conclusive here, Jamie. CN1 are the only ones who have any position near zone.
Yeah, and Vixard here, they had the great position before. They're now in a whole world of trouble. They've got Tempura, the only player left. He's right on the edge of the blue. He's completely in the open, and he's got to make his way across very open ground to get to the next zone.
And he's coming under fire now.
Yeah, he's laying as much smoke as he can. He's trying to move from position to position, but he's taking shots from 2 different directions under a huge amount of pressure.
And that's him taken out. So we're down to a 4-on-2 with CN1 and 7 Ravens. And I can't help but thinking that, yeah, I mean, Ravens have got an almost impossible situation here. They're out of circle. The blue is going to start a push. It's phase 7 of the game. And CN1 TipTop have got control of this zone.
They certainly have. Something that we speak about a lot is not just being in zone, but controlling zone. And look at that. They split 2-2 to either side of the zone.
So Top Boy is the last.
One of the players out.
Top Boy is the last player up, and that has been ended. So that looks like a win for the TipTop Teletubbies there. So yes, indeed. CN1 from TipTop, they take first place with 11 kills. Great play there by 7 Ravens, but really up against it. Those zones were not kind to them coming in. 2 kills for those guys. And Vixard taking third place with 5 kills. Okay, we've got a few players on 3 there. 2s and 3s. We've got 4D. One of the guys from 4D got 5 kills. Mash, well played. 4 for Rusty there. So no one player lighting it up too hugely, but frankly a great rotation at the end there for TipTop, and they just they managed to hold on to what was a good position and turning into a winning one. Okay, boys and girls, Jamie and I are going to take a very, very quick break, and we'll be back with you for some post-game analysis in just a few moments. Bye for now.
Don't scare me like that.
Hi there, boys and girls. Just trying to sort out a few technical issues, actually. So sorry for the slight delay. Okay, game number 1, Jammy. Had some interesting gunfights, especially up in North George, early days. But ultimately, as the zones started to push in, the 1.2 bridges became very important. Then 1 bridge, and in the end, very small circle, quite open between the two, and circle domination in the final few phases of play. They're really becoming very important.
Totally agree. We saw 2 really good gunfights at the start of the game. We saw the one up in the Georgia Pole Apartments, with some really clever play. I would say unfortunate for the knock, but his teammate managed to come in and take down 2 players and then get the revive as well. But then we saw the gunplay over at Milter as well. The important one from CM1 taking that eastern bridge, the northern side, which meant they had an easier rotation than some others to get over into the mini base. We saw the absolute carnage and chaos on the western bridge because no one team
Yeah, that was good.
had really taken the bridge, which meant everyone was just sort of queuing up to come over.
Yeah, there was some great play. One of the players, I can't remember which player it was now, but had a great location in the back of one of the trucks there and was just nailing people as just when they thought they were safe. And but I think one of my favourite moments, and I think yours as well, was the okay, you're probably going to kill me, but I'm going to leave you a little present next to my box grenade.
The little landmine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an absolute peach of a nade. That was exactly as you say. I'm probably going down here, but you know what? I'm taking 2 of you with me.
Yeah. He the very definition of not going out without a fight. That fella. Kudos.
Can I say I've done something similar completely by accident when I lobbed a nade, but it bounced off the windowsill. I had to run away, but the enemy then ran behind me and ran straight onto the nade that I had missed thrown.
Making you look like a total pro and not letting on to anybody, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I didn't include that in my highlights, definitely not.
Yeah.
But the second phase of it was we had Vixard in a really good position. They were controlling the zone that they had. But then the zone shifted and they had it too many. They were fighting on too many flanks.
Yeah.
They had teams on either side of them and they hadn't been able to clear either flank, which meant when the zone shifted and they had to come south, they had to come past teams and it just didn't work out for them. CN1, on the other hand, our eventual winners, they not only got themselves into zone, now, they were helped slightly by the zone being near where they were, but they still had to use the roof of that building.
Yep.
But they were using the roof of that building. They weren't just hiding in the building. They were taking teams out, which meant that when it came to the really late zone, they were able to split in 2 east, 2 west, and really dominate and control that final zone.
Yeah, the circle was certainly kind to them, but they picked their spot and effectively used it well. I mean, not long before that, we were saying how well we thought Vixard were doing in controlling their ground. They seemed to have a very good position. They were together as a four. If the zone had shifted their way and forced CN1 out, you could have had potentially a different outcome. But at the end of the day, that's the circumstances we all play under. The zone certainly did come to TipTop there, but no doubt about it, they absolutely monopolised the position that they had. Used that building that they had, sort of half of it in the blue, half of it not in the blue, to good effect to get rounds down and to just basically make it very difficult for anybody else to come into zone. And when you're starting to hit phase 7, phase 8 of a game, if you're making it impossible for anybody else to get into the zone, you're putting yourself in a very strong position.
I would agree to a point. The point I would disagree on is what CM1 did better is they made sure they cleared their flanks.
Yeah.
Which is what Vixard didn't do. They were in a great position, but they didn't clear their flanks. Because when CM1 weren't in zone and they had to move, yes, it was later phase, but because they'd cleared their flanks, they could do it on their terms. They could split 2 and 2, and they could get the angle on the opposition. Whereas Vixard, because they were in that position but hadn't cleared their flanks, as soon as they tried to go forward, it wasn't on their terms. They were having to be a little bit sneaky. They were having to try and get past teams. So it didn't quite work out for them. They lost players. I think that was, yes, okay, the zone moved towards CN1, but the work that CN1 did meant that they were absolutely able to make the most of it.
No, absolutely not taking anything away from CN1. I think Vixard found themselves in a tough position. At the end of the day, they were occupying a good position, but they did have a lot of teams very close to them without cover. And then
it was a good position,
and they had TipTop sniping at them.
To be there as well, so they did have more company. I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then they had TipTop sniping at them as well. So very, very well controlled game. No doubt about it, and a very exciting one for a first game of the evening. Now it looks like we're about ready to go into game number 2, and we're on Miramar for this one. Tends to be quite an exciting game, Miramar, on for some reason. Well, I'm glad to say, in TipTop EU Open Scrims. Certainly one of Jamie's favourites games to play on and commentate on. And after the quality we saw in game number 1 there, Jamie, I would expect to have a very, very good game for game number 2.
I agree. And what we've seen, I can hear the game sounds now. Again, thank you for the restart, by the way.
It did clear it up.
It did. Yeah, I can hear them now.
Good.
Now all these nutters are shooting.
Now all these nutters are shooting. Yeah. No. Do you want me to turn it back off again, mate?
No, God, no. So one thing I've noticed casting a lot of scrims is, strangely, we tend to get a lot, and it's happened on Erangel as well. We saw that in game 1. We tend to get a lot of odd flight lines at the moment.
Yeah.
I tend to get a lot of southern ones that go over Los Leones. I had one last night that was very, very southern and went from sort of La Driera to Puerto Paraiso.
Okay, so we're on the plane. Let's have a look at our flight line, and there we go, south to north. I mean, Jamie once again with his Nostradamus-like telepathic abilities there. So describe that flight line for us, then, Jamster.
Basically the opposite of what I said, although it does need to go over Los Leones.
Gonna say you called that one perfectly, mate. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Apart from the direction. So I mentioned Puerto Paraiso and Los Leones, and it goes near those places. So I get at least a half point, surely.
I'm gonna be generous and give you a half point, buddy. Okay, so we are going south to north. We've got a couple of early jumpers. Certainly probably expect to see somebody hit a vehicle on the northern road head to Campo Militar, I would imagine. A lot of people coming out over Los Leones by the look of it.
Yeah, and that's one thing, because maybe it's because there's been a lot of southern flight lines, but I've seen that road from Los Leones to Monte Nuevo seems to be the new popular area. There's a lot of vehicles, a lot of small lootable compounds along there, and it means you avoid places like San Martin, Picado, Chumacera, but you're close enough to get involved if you need to.
Yep. So let's have a look. And looks like we got, I think B4V. No, they're going north.
It's a very even spread of teams, actually.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I was just seeing if we were potentially going to get some action at Picard. It looks like we might have some
La Bendita. We've got the DS, so Team 14, Dark Soul. And they're getting involved with Team 13, Seven Ravens.
Who were featured very heavily in the final stages of our first game, if I recall. Now, how's our friend here? He's somewhat isolated, I think.
Yeah, he's got an Uzi, so if you're going to try and defend a compound, he's got the right weapon for it. Opens the door and lets them know.
Manages to establish one knock through the window there. Great play. Not quite managing to get the thirst on. And that guy who's been knocked is begging his teammates to get over it. Looks like he's established a second knock. He's been joined by his teammate. And that's...
Hello and goodbye.
That was a great piece of work by Avenger here. Joined very well by his squad mates. And Mr. Well, very large panda head there. And yeah, what a piece of work from these two players. So they rack up 3 kills very, very quickly after losing one of their own members. So some great work there.
That was pretty bloody epic, to be honest. I mean, Avenger was some amazing work with Uzi.
That was some pretty good stuff, I have to say. Okay, so straight back into it. Was here with squad number that's 18. That's RS0.
Another Uzi warrior.
And who are they locking horns with? Vixard, by the look of it. I'm not quite getting into it yet.
Building to building in Los Leones, by the looks of it. Where else have we got some? I've just seen various bits going on up very far north, up in La Cobreria. Actually, not even in La Cobreria. It's actually on the outskirts. We've got a bit of action here with what is it? No, it's B3T and the DS team. Oh, I see. Sorry. So it's Dark Souls. No, it's Team 8.
Yep.
DS Astralis.
Yeah,
sorry,
Astralis.
there's so many different tags.
Yeah, it doesn't help when they don't sort the tags out, does it? So, yeah.
We've also got a CM1 tag as well on one of the players.
Yeah.
So, I think that we've got a knock up in the far north. So we've got Zubi from B3T. Has been knocked.
And looks like we've got a potential push coming here, I think. Here we go. So here with Rusty from B3T. And coming out from the left. Gets dropped fairly ruthlessly. Thirsted up instantly.
Reactions of a blue bottle there, managing to avoid that fire. I thought he had him.
Oh. Yeah, some pretty great work from our friends from CN1 there. Winners of game number 1 and starting game number 2 strong.
Lovely distance work with a hollow. The worst of all the sights.
Yeah, I must admit, it's not my favourite, that one.
No, yeah.
I prefer the red dot to that one.
I 100% agree. And on most guns, I'd go iron sight over a hollow. It just takes up too much of the what you can see. Basically, putting him shots back to F from DS Astralis. So one teammate gone down, the rest are all in vehicles. They're all making their way towards zone, I think. I don't know, they're actually up in the north. So, I mean, the first zone, actually, just to highlight, we had quite an eastern flight line from Puerto Pareso up to Torre Arquibada. And the first zone is pretty benign. Almost all the teams are already in zone. In fact, it's only those ones that... It's
only these two guys who are looking at... Yeah, only the guys that we're looking at the moment that are well out now. It looks like we do have some action here with our friends from squad number 21 that's in top. And they're getting into it. Who's that? Squad number 19. That's Vini Vidi Vici. And these guys have had a hell of a start. 6 kills already.
Yeah. So, yeah, Team 21 and Team 19 pretty close together. It's... Look at this, Vici Nino is the last remaining player, actually, from Vini Vidi Vici.
Yep.
And he's there with a Scar L with an iron sight. We were talking about what sights to use. I mean, a weapon with an iron sight, Scar L is probably the best one to go for.
I'm certainly coming under some pressure now.
Yeah, and look at that split now with that player
Yeah.
coming round on the wide angle, really putting pressure on now.
I don't think our friend here has a vehicle, so he's going to quickly find himself flanked and pushed, I think. But he's trying to isolate one of the players, and he has managed it. That is the problem sometimes with the split. So even though he went down, he did take a player with him, so well played.
Yeah, that's at least 1 point for his team, so well played on the basically a quick draw contest that was.
Yeah. He saw there was one player isolated off and thought, well, I'm going to get at least one point for my team. So well played, young man. Ultimately, though, our friends from squad number 21 taking the kills there. 7 kills for these guys already. They're having a great early game.
Yeah, that's not a bad go. We've still got 17 teams and 58 players in the game. We're only in phase 1.
Yeah, only phase 1 of the game now. As Jamie said, most players actually naturally finding themselves almost in zone, so not too many people having difficulty rotating. The friends that we were covering, B3T, up in the north, they're starting to make their way in now, just north of Hacienda. And looks like we've got people establishing presences here, haven't we? Making sure they've got lots of vehicles available, and quite content to let the blue come to them and then see where we go from there.
Yeah, and we even see, look at Los Leones. There's no one in Los Leones because people are actually rotated out of there, whether they're chasing kills or they're trying to head towards centre zone. So we've got Team 18 have come up from Los Leones in towards the north into centre zone, and they're coming very close to Team 14, Dark Souls.
And one of our friends from squad number 18, RS0, copping a few rounds there, jumps into the trusty old camper van.
Yeah, it's nice and fun when you're on the way to Glastonbury. I don't know about a getaway vehicle across Miramar.
I wouldn't use it for a bank job. No, not that I go in for bank jobs. You understand?
No. I mean, that's the official party line.
We've all done silly things when we were kids. So, looks like our friends from squad number 14 really coming into it now. One of the players that thirsted up. Looks like another one has been knocked. So, 14, who we saw earlier on, actually doing very well at the beginning part of this game. Avenger, they're coming on some pressure now.
They are. I wonder if I think they are just as a trio now. Indeed, they are. So it's only 47 who's still alive, and he's already taken some shots, getting some heals in before he can even think about getting to his teammate. In fact, no, his teammate's now been thirsted.
So we have 47. What do you reckon that Chinese character is? Do you reckon that's Agent 47? Do you think?
Quite possibly. I hope so. I don't know if it is or not, but I really hope so.
It would be very cool, but I'm calling you Agent 47, dude, because that's very cool. But he's on his toes. And hey, you drive like that, Jamie. That's good. Yeah.
I don't drive that well. We both know that I'd have ended up upside down with an exploded Murado.
Nobody drives as well as Magpie.
That is very true. Big shout to Magpie there.
Yeah. Okay, so
he's got a boot to fit loot in.
That's the one, yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Well, here is our situation. We are currently still only in phase 2 of the game. We're down to 56 players left alive, 17 teams. A lot of people. Basically, at this moment, I think just vying for position in their vehicles. We do have a couple of teams who have established a presence in compounds in zone.
We do. We see. I think we're with them actually at the moment. Team 24,
who are coming under some pressure from squad number 5, which is 1%.
Yeah, so we've got 1%, and the Orion Nebula. There's one for the players of Elite Dangerous there. The Orion Nebula.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favourite objects, actually. M42. M42, the Orion Nebula. Yep.
Strangely, M42 is how you like to use the M24. Backwards.
It really is, backwards, yeah.
Just use the butt of it.
But first, that's absolutely... I mean, I don't mess about. I don't like a fair fight. Just club them with something. Okay, so...
A little bit of third party action coming in from Team 9 there. Ball for victory. They're trying to get a bit of third party, but they're not having it their own way. They've had a player taken down who's been revived, Chanju.
So here we are with B4B Knight. We covered, watched him several times actually. He tends to be a good gunfighter, but he's under pressure here. One of his teammates knocks. He's just taken quite a bit of damage from a nade. And another nade comes in and takes him out. Beautiful piece of work there. So Hulu is now the only person up and running. He's been taken out. And looks like the only B4V player is already aware of the vehicle. His teammate's going to get thirsted up.
Yeah, he was actually coming in to try and provide support from the off angle, but it was too far away and just wasn't able to. Now he's going to try and take some revenge here. Doesn't connect quite enough there on Fallon, is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, but I think he'd probably be best advised to head out of there if he can.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh,
well, he knew when to get out, didn't he? Nice call there, Papa.
And he was taking shots, but that is fantastic gameplay to not only get out quick enough, but immediately just to time it so well that you can get behind that cover.
Still under a huge amount of pressure, but kudos for that one, mate. You did incredibly well.
Yeah.
Managing to get a bit of damage in with the M4 spray also. It's not making it easy for our friends from Team 24 here. Does take a nasty shot there.
Yeah, absolutely dinged the head there. Taking huge chunks of health out of the helmet.
Yeah, that's the level 2, nearly gone. Well,
he's not ready. Yeah, he's being aggressive. I like this guy.
He's yeah, I like this fella. I do.
Oh, I don't know if this might be too steep for him to get up. So he's hoping there's only one at the top. There's a nade coming in.
A nade comes over, yeah.
That shows he knows he's putting some pressure on for them to be throwing nades rather than just waiting for him. So he knows he's got them a bit rattled here.
Yeah, he mollies up the top of the hill. I think he was potentially looking to maybe change the angle a little. Nate, another molly goes over. He's making it difficult for him. But it does look connected. It does look like his teammates are actually coming under some pressure from a third party. So yeah, they're involved in another fight with squad number 11. Some great work there. So these guys find themselves in two simultaneous fights, and you have to say they're doing the damage against a full squad of 4 that are pushing against these two players.
Yeah, you wouldn't know they were potentially fighting on 2 flanks there, would you? They're really doing some great work. Team 11 under a huge amount of pressure.
And that's one player knocked and thirsted. One of these players gets knocked, but another knock established by a friend here. Who's that? Sill, whatever. Establishing another thirst. There's another player knocked down there, and squad number 11 coming in for a push as a third party. And wow, these guys have really made them pay for it.
They certainly are. Look at this.
And there we go. What a piece of gunfighting from these guys. That was absolutely phenomenal work.
The Orion Nebula there, and in particular, I have to say, Leon. I'm not sure, but the Orion Nebula there, I've not seen them before. It's the first time I've cast them at a scrim.
I think so for me as well.
11 kills and 5 for Leon, I'm not sure. But
well, I think the ON is the Orion Nebula on everybody's thing, yeah.
Ah, there we go. Of course it is, yeah. So, Sile?
I don't know, but I wouldn't bet. He's pretty tasty. That was some great gun skill. That was some really great gun skill.
I'll pronounce it however he tells me to, because boy, that was some good gun fighting.
Okay, well, that's some exciting stuff to watch. Let's actually get a bit more of a tactical overview. So here is our circle. We've got a lot of players out to the north, but pretty much all of them are mobile. Heading in. We've got a few players establishing a presence in circle. But that phase of play, I don't necessarily think it was people being pushed so much. It was just a lot of players found themselves relatively close to each other and were prepared to take on the fight, and that has thinned us out somewhat. We're down to 11 teams and 30 players still left alive at this point, and we're still only phase 3 of the game. We've lost 50 players, so that tells you just how exciting the initial parts of this game were.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that was some really brutal period of gameplay there, some fantastic gunplay, but we lost a lot of players very quickly. And we see with the way the zone shifted,
Well, these
teams were
guys, yeah.
leaving Los Leones and heading north, trying to head towards centre zone. But the zones come gradually further and further south, and so they're heading back towards the eastern side of Los Leones again.
Yeah, these guys took care of 11 of them, so...
Yeah, and they've got a team right behind them, actually. Who's that coming in for a bit of attention? It's Team 8. So DS Astral is coming in right behind.
Looks like these guys are looking to establish themselves back towards zone now, so probably definitely the right call. And they should be able to get in fairly uncontested, actually.
Yeah, so where they were there as a result of going for centre zone. So are they going to just hold edge of zone, or are they going to push towards centre? It's difficult terrain for them, actually.
They're still making their way in. Nobody else is really fighting at the moment. I think most people are just establishing a presence.
15 and 16. 15, 16 have a fight. So CX and the TipTop Teletubbies having a lovely little rumble up in the north there, just outside zone.
Here we are with don't you dare, don't you dare.
I'm sure it'll come back any second.
Here we go. Thank you.
Yeah, so CX have lost 2 players. So they've only got 2 remaining, but they've got a pretty good fight going on. They're holding up all 4 players of CM1 here.
But they're having to rotate on foot in the open, in the blue, with 4 guns from CM1 pointing at them. I don't think that's a good survival strategy, personally.
No,
obviously they don't have any choice not to say these guys have done anything wrong. That's the situation they found themselves in. It's a very, very tough one. Next to the Marauder here, but that's been blown. Phase 4 of the game, so the blue does hurt enough at this stage. Now our friend here doing his best to get some meds in, get some smoke out. Coming under increasing pressure, trying to get some meds in. Teammate nods, and here comes a push. And that is CN1 clearing that one up fairly ruthlessly. They find themselves quite a bit to the north, though, so they'll need to rotate in quite aggressively now.
They will, but it's a straight line for them directly into zone. They're going to have to come past Team 10, the 1% team, but it's a nice straight road for them, straight into zone. Zone has shifted. We're going slightly further southeast even, and we're going to be on the hillside to the east of Los Leones.
Yeah.
Quick note to self, don't annoy a CN1 team.
Yeah. Or Orion Nebula at the moment, the way they're playing on this map.
Yeah, between the two of them, they've got, 18 kills so far.
And I think we're getting into it with Orion Nebula again. They've come into contact with the guys from Vixard. And only had a peek at the window there and got a face full of 5.56 for his troubles.
We've seen how good Vixard are, so this is a test.
And here comes the push.
Nebula.
And it's basically just a last surviving Vixar player here, and really up against it from, a group of boys and girls who are proving to be very, very aggressive. And great shooting straight through the window there, and Orion Nebula taking even more kills. Astralis now trying to make their way in.
That was brutal.
Yeah, Astralis making their way in. Orion Nebula, and this could be interesting. There's Orion Nebula coming bang straight into it with CN1, I think. Yeah, they went straight past the CN1 position, and Orion Nebula paying for that. But then they're not letting TipTop have it their own way. Our friend's on fire, and he's still trying to get the rounds in. Takes a beautiful thirst there. I think I can't be still on fire.
No, that's the Molly glitch.
Yeah, Molly glitch. Yeah. Oh, beautiful flanking position there. Get some more rounds in. It does look good with that fire coming out there.
It does. It really does. It looks great when you're driving and you've got this long trail of fire behind you.
So, yeah, Orion Nebula. However, these guys are now, they're out of circle. They don't have far to get in, but they are in the middle of quite a fight. They've been reduced down to a 2, but they've certainly put a bit of hurt on and a moment of pause for TipTop Teletubbies there. who also find themselves out of zone. And we've got elements of Raw potentially on the outskirts of this as well. But Raw, squad number 12, they do have a position northern edge of circle.
Yeah, so it's just saying one stupid pig there that's still remaining for the for Team 16 there, the TipTop Teletubbies. Under a huge amount of pressure. As you say, they're in between Raw, who are in zone, and the player Cilion. Sorry, I don't know how. Still don't know how to pronounce it. From the Orion Nebula. So they've now only got 2 players remaining.
Managing to connect with a couple of shots there through the smoke.
Great work. A couple of speculative shots there, but outside zone taking on a team. Maybe better off trying to get into zone, I think. Throw some smokes and just get yourself in.
But the nose is being gate kept fairly efficiently by the squad from Raw, I think.
But we've got Team 18 starting to get involved as well now.
But Raw also now having to move as they're getting pushed. They've got a little bit of a split going on as well. And they're potentially getting under some fire from B3T here.
So phase 5 of the game, 8 teams, 17 players remaining. It's starting to get congested, and it's only Raw that have got a presence in zone.
And our friend here very quickly finds himself on fire and knocked.
Both of them are on fire.
And that's some great work from the guys from squad number 18 there. So Sil, who we saw doing some great work earlier, he's still putting the rounds in, but ultimately taken out by the players of squad number 21. So we're down to 6 teams now.
And we saw the Molly take out the gas can that he was next to, so he had to get out of there. He had to get out of the window. Even though he was still on fire, that gas can would have finished him off.
So this is our general situation. We're down to 6 teams, 14 players left alive. So squad number 21, top.
So, yeah, 5 remaining, 12 players alive now, phase 6 of the game. As again, it's still only Raw that have got a presence in zone.
Raw have got a presence in zone, and they also have numbers, which we know at this stage of the game can prove to be very, very conclusive.
They certainly can. If they can make the most of it here, they've got to make the most of the position they're in.
So we are here with squad number 21, UN. They now find themselves out of zone, coming under increasing amounts of pressure. Raw still dominating this circle.
They are, so top 3 now, and yeah, it's only Raw that are even close to zone at the moment. We've got 7 Ravens and UN down in the south. Raw are just sitting in zone waiting, really.
So trying to use the ground here, get himself a bit of cover. Now, I mean, certainly some nades over there might be an idea, if he's got them.
Yeah, needs to put something down, and they've also got the 7 Ravens. Rex there,
I think he's more than aware, yeah. He's more than aware he's got a player off to his rear. But, yeah, I mean, the situation that we'll have here, they've managed to get their player up, so there's still a 3 at this point, and they are controlling this zone. Well, our friend here is in a very difficult position. He knows he's got a squad of 3 to his front, but he knows he's got a sort of spoiler almost off to his flank.
Well, that's it. It's Rex that's acting as the anchor here. He's stopping players from getting over that hill and making their way into zone. It's him that's acting as the spoiler. It's not the team of 3.
And a nade's coming up. Beautiful nade there. So here we have another player from squad number 21. Still out of circle. And you have to say, our friend from 7 Ravens there is really making it difficult for this team to move forward. But it takes nothing away from Raw. They're controlling their ground beautifully. And here comes the blue. No choice really. Gets a beautiful knock there. Firing through the smoke. Nearly established his second.
So Rex here, he's going to go down. He hasn't got time.
I think he managed to establish a knock.
I think there were 2 knocks. But yeah, blimey, he only just made it. That was close.
I know, that Yeah, I was for a second. I thought, did he do it? But no. Eventually, our winners of game number 2, Raw. Great zone control at the end there. They take the win with 7 kills. In 7th place, 7 Ravens, who again featured very well in game number 1. Just the 1 kill for them this time. And UN, they take 3rd place with 10 kills. Excellent work from them. Can't really leave without mentioning the guys from Orion Nebula there. I mean, look at that. 17 kills, 9 for Sil. Just spectacular individual gunplay. We got one of the guys from RS there also picking up 5. But yeah, some very, very exciting gunfights there. And what almost proved to be a very, very strange finish. But Jamie and I will be talking about that in just a few minutes. We're going to have a very quick break and we'll be back with you in a short while. See you soon. Okay, mate.
Yeah, is it over already?
Second game, yeah.
Yeah, that was quick.
They really ripped into each other.
Oh, really? Second game good?
Huh?
Second game good?
Very exciting, actually. Some epic gunfights.
Fantastic.
Some, I mean, just like really sort of like wow, you know. Look at the gun skill on fucking display. So there was some really good ones.
Totally agree.
Okay, hi there, boys and girls. Welcome back. And, some very, very exciting stuff in game number 2. Started out with some great gunfighting up in the north. And then then we basically had the pleasure of watching Orion Nebula light it up. And then as we came into the final stages of play, Jammy, a lot of fights, again, very similar to game 1, happening slightly out of circle. And and Team Raw dominating the ground at the end there. Certainly didn't get it all their own way, but certainly their ability to dominate that part of ground in circle was decisive for their victory there.
Certainly was. It was, I think, as you said, some epic gameplay there. Some gunplay and gameplay.
Yeah.
Some brilliant individual fights, some brilliant team fights. The high kill counts, we saw Sil there with 9 individual kills, just absolutely shredding teams.
Yeah, it really was, yeah.
Some great work. And then at the end we saw, and that harks back a little bit to game 1, how important it is to clear your flank, because there was that one player.
Yeah, it was the guy from the Ravens, yeah.
Yeah, who didn't even have to fire a shot, but because they knew he was there, those 2 players couldn't come over the hill and into relative safety.
And there was there was an opportunity where Raw had taken a few hits and a few knocks, and some nades going over would have really put them under a lot of pressure, but they just couldn't get. They couldn't press that position because the player from Seven Ravens was still out there, and in the end, he came second and nearly pulled off the win. I think he dropped 2 of them towards the end.
There were I don't know if he dropped 2, but there were 2 dropped. He got the confirm on one of them. Now, if that had been the player who hadn't been knocked that he managed to take down, he'd have taken the win just from being in the right place at the right time, really.
Yeah, it was very exciting at the end there. He was still firing as he went down to the blue zone, technically, I think, but was getting the rounds in, and he nearly pulled out a win there, Jammy. But you can't take anything away from Raw. Certainly controlled the ground very, very well in the final stages of the game there for an excellent win. It can't really, Orion Nebula, some great gun skills there. I mean, at one point, involved in 2 different firefights with the split going on and coming out of both of them alive. Just some fantastic work. But Raw take the win in game number 2, and we'll be going into game number 3 in just a few moments. We'll be on Sarnok this time. One of my favourite maps to play.
Well, given how epic Miramar was and how many gunfights we've seen in both Erangel and Miramar.
Yeah.
Are we going to see 20 teams landing on boot camp and just going for it and all be done by phase 1?
I don't know. I think we lost 50 players by phase 3 in that one. Which, was an 80-player lobby, and 50 of them have died in the first 3 phases of play. That tells you that teams certainly weren't hanging around and were prepared to push contact, which is exactly what you want to see. I've covered scrims which were just no fun at all because they're very sweaty, and you come into phase 6 of the game and there's still 70 players still alive, which is very, very boring to watch.
Well, we've seen both extremes in the past. We've seen scrims, exactly as you said, where people are uber tactical and sneak around. As you say, you get to phase 6 of the game and 3/4 of the lobbies is still alive, and they're all hiding behind trees, cars, and in compounds. And we've also cast scrims before where it's absolutely Hail Mary, hell for leather, and by phase 2, you've got 20 players left. But the trouble is, they're then spread around the map, and you get 5 phases of absolutely nothing.
Well, I think we went from gunfight to gunfight to gunfight there. So thank you to the lobby for providing entertainment all the way through. As streamers, this is the way to do it. 20 gunfights happening all at once isn't what we want. We want lots of phased gunfights throughout. So well done for staying to the script there, boys and girls.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I think we're just a few minutes off. We've only got about 50 players in the lobby, so we're probably just a few minutes off. But yeah, a little bit of a. I mean, the two similar. It'd be remiss not to point out the similarities really in games 1 and 2 there, in that the teams that were able to maintain numbers and maintain position in zone, keeping their flanks cleared. Certainly didn't have it their own way, but that so far has proved to be the winning strategy in games 1 and 2, Jamie.
Certainly, and another commonality between games 1 and 2 as well is the first zone has matched the flight line. We haven't had a hard shift first zone yet. So, we had a southern flight line and a southern zone on Erangel. We had a fairly benign eastern zone
with your
over Los Leones.
Your Nostradamus-like capabilities of predicting the flight line, yes. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So, given that, for game 3...
Where do you think it's going to go over? Villa?
We're going to have an eastern flight line and a zone over in the far west somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, don't write that down because we all know it'd be wrong.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because I think the last time, certainly nearly every time, we'll see if it happens this time, but every time we've covered Scrims for TipTop, and frankly, pretty much all Tier 1 games I've played, yes, you do get action in boot camp. Yes, sometimes you do get a little bit in Paradise. But what tends to be the hot real estate for an initial fight tends to be Painan.
Yes.
So it'll be very interesting to see if we end up with some action now. I think the last one we covered, we had about 7 teams. We had about 7 teams going at each other in Painan. We were in Painan for about the first 10 minutes of the game.
It was easy for you as being in control of the visuals because you didn't have to leave Painan for about 15 minutes.
No, because it was all happening there, yeah.
I think 5 teams landed Painan and then everyone else seemed to come and join in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if we get something similar to that. I certainly enjoy it when you get those because I think Painan is a great place to have a big gunfight. A boot camp sometimes can be a little bit more difficult to cover because there are so many buildings in which to take cover. But Painan, yes, there are a lot of buildings, but people tend to be a lot more mobile between them.
And you've got that natural obstacle of the river going between it, which means you tend to get players slightly further apart. They're not always going building to building against each other. You get that slight barrier between them. And, do they risk it and cross over? Do they go and get shredded trying to cross on the bridge?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Well, you watch this now. Nobody will land Painan. It'll be, no. Thanks for that, guys. Yeah, cheers. But we'll see. We'll see. One thing I think we are absolutely guaranteed of is some thrilling action in game number 3. We've certainly had it in games 1 and 2 this evening. I don't think we're too far away from the lobby now. Let's have a look. We've got 74 players in.
We're missing 1 team plus a couple of individuals by the looks of it. I think we're going without them by the looks of it.
I think we've had to go. Yeah, we've had to go because we're already a little bit over schedule here.
Slightly nervous pregnant pause while we wait for them to load up.
That's it. Yeah, there's always that slight moment of horror. Load, please load, please load. No, I'm not joking. Please load.
Yeah, it'll be there, don't worry.
Oh, dear. Okay, you're starting to annoy me now. Thank you. Stop messing about. Thank you very much.
There we go. Yeah, we do have 74 players in. So we are missing, I believe, just having a quick look, I think we're missing Vini Vici as a team, and then we've got a couple of individuals missing as well.
It's a shame. What we got? 72 players in, so we actually we've dropped 8 players, which is.
No, I've got 74 on my list.
Have you? Right. Okay.
I'm sure they'll join your game soon.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, they've showed up.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to start game number 3 on Sarnock. Let's have a look at our flight line. And straight between Paradise Resort, Boot Camp, heading down towards Kaipong. Yes, interesting one. We were talking about Painan. Now you can drop there from there. Be interested to see if anyone does.
It certainly will. I mean, what I've seen recently, the last few months actually, is more and more people are going to that Northwest Island up to Hartin and Camp Alpha.
Which we've already got several teams doing straight away.
I think that classes as an eastern flight line as per Norster Jammy's predictions.
You're just not letting it go this evening, are you?
No. I'm determined to get one right.
So we've got several teams have overflown boot camp.
Indeed, no one's gone to boot camp at all. We've got a team in Paradise,
Got
no one in boot camp.
One team in
couple
Paradise.
And only one in Painan by the looks of it, Vixard. Unless, I think maybe Team 7. Apologies, Deathless are coming in. No, they're not quite. We've got UN and Deathless 4 are north of Painan, but we've got no one joining Vixard in Painan.
Yeah, thanks for making me look like a bunch of... I don't know, guys. Come on, get with the program. What's wrong with you? Okay, so here we are with UN, who were featured very much in game number 2.
They weren't. Yeah, so it's only one player, though, because they're actually quite spread out. UN are split between 3-4 different compounds, and quite a long split between them as well, actually. So this player here, Wu3, is under a bit of pressure against the 2 players from
Deathless 4, yeah.
Deathless 4. He needs to try and get out of there if he can, or call in one of his teammates as support.
Looks like one of the Deathless 4 has crossed the road now, potentially looking to get a flanking position on.
Yeah, all 4 of them are actually. I'm just looking at the map here. And How up there is the support player for Wu 3. And the other 2 are actually over by the river west of boot camp.
And got a piece of him by the tree there. And, oof, my word, just managing to get behind that rock and get some meds in. Only just making that.
Yeah, that was some really good gunplay there. I think it was Howe putting the work in. So I'm claiming that as an eastern flight line in a western zone. I'm saying Jammy 1, game 2.
Okay, we're getting into some early action straight away with Orion Nebula, who we covered in game number 2 quite conclusively. They're getting into it with squad number 18 as RS0. Now, looks like Orion Nebula are coming under some pressure here.
Yeah, this is not going to the script of game 2. I tell you, they're under some real pressure. So Rete's been re-knocked.
So we're here with Sil, who we covered a lot in game. We took 9 kills in game number 2. Nade going out.
It was just a little flashbang, wasn't it? Maybe there is a little distraction.
Here we go. Our teammate jumps across the wall there, but instantly gets taken out. And Sil has now also been knocked.
There's only Rex remaining because Rete has already been not only knocked but thirsted as well. So we didn't see them under this kind of pressure in game 2. Well, we did, but they dealt with it a lot better. They were really getting...
But this has literally come down to a 1-on-1 gunfight, and our friend from squad number 18, that's, what's that, Gooey Man, Gooey Me in, whatever, doing the business there and clearing out Orion Nebula, managing to get his teammate up. I think they only jumped as well. They only had 3 of them here. If they, jumped to 3 by the look of it. So they're going to walk out with 2, having taken out Orion Nebula. So well played indeed, boys and girls.
Yeah, that's. I tell you what. Obviously, you only get the same amount of points per kill, but that is a real scalp. That is taking out the massively leading kill count from game 2, Orion Nebula. So interestingly, with phase 1, what we've got is it's centered around where the 3 rivers meet, just west of boot camp. Now that always adds a bit of chaos when you get the rivers involved on Sanhok.
Absolutely. Now it looks like our friend from KK here has had 3 of his teammates wiped, so he's potentially looking to rotate away from this one.
Has he got 2? He has. He's got 2 QBUs.
Which is well,
unless he's planning on using the the attachments at the front. Oh no, it's a tripod, isn't it? Sorry, bipod. Apologies. I thought he got himself a bayonet on one of them.
Now, if they had bayonets on the end of rifles in this game, I would use nothing else just for giggles. Okay, looks like our friend's probably going to get pushed on soon. Here we go. Now that's one player isolated off a little bit here, getting joined by his teammate.
I think it's with the QBE. Obviously, it's a single shot. It's a
Very
DMR,
high, very
but
high
my
individual
goodness,
shot
it's
damage
powerful.
though. I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna do the business here though. But he manages to get one knock. Doesn't manage to get the thirst. So the guys from squad number 20, that's Phenomenal Esports, picking up 4 kills. Should be able to get their teammates up and walk out of here as a 3. And somewhat spread out between the teams, Jamie, but
They really are. I mean, that's the thing we get with an ordinary flight line is people spread out, go to their normal locations. We'll see them start coming together now. Raw, we see heading over towards Quarry. To the south of them, we've got OP. Just looking to see where we might have some action coming up soon. Now, we did have Vixard and Deathless 4 were over in Painan. They've both left Painan and gone slightly north.
yep, they're not too
I
far
think
away from
everyone's
each other.
waiting for the next zone to break. Where are we going to go?
I think that's absolutely right, yeah. And, well, we're sort of staying in the centre. All 3 coastlines are still very much going to be in play.
Yeah, so the teams on the Northwest Island aren't going to be pressured to cross just yet.
The guys in boot camp have actually had it pretty easy.
Yeah, they've only just rotated there, I think. That's UN.
Yeah, they've managed to get into because nobody actually dropped boot camp, I don't think. So these guys have managed to get themselves into boot camp, and they find themselves centre zone. So not a bad location for these guys.
No, so they've already done their initial looting. Well, now they're in boot camp. They can do some proper looting with no pressure from anyone else being in there for another few minutes.
Here with our friends in boot camp, and we've got elements of squad number 15, CX, not too far away. Also got some guys from Vixard overlooking.
Yeah, so the last remaining 2 from Vixard, actually. Now, Vixard, actually, they jumped over. Where did they go? Yeah, they went...
They went Painan, yeah.
They jumped across to Painan, and then they've headed north.
So we've got a little bit of separation between the teams. Now let's have a look. We've got a couple of teams coming close together here. Who have we got here? We've got Phenomenal Esports, who we've already featured a little bit, coming up against our winners of game number 2, Raw.
They are, so Phenomenal, just on the edge of zone. I wonder if Raw know they're there. I'm wondering if maybe they don't, because I'm just thinking Raw came in from the south, and Phenomenal were already in this location, I think. It's a little waiting game now on the edge of zone.
Yep, absolutely. So what we got there? M4 Vector. I always like that loadout on this map. I mean, I normally double AR, but M4 Vector on this map I used to quite like.
Yeah, I mean,
the only problem was you needed 8 attachments.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably because I play the final stages of the game as the sneakiest of snakes, and there's nothing I liked better with the suppressed Vector than firing at a lump of grass and the other guy dying and going, no way. It was always a good feeling, that one.
When you get to the late stages of the game with that loadout and your aggressive tactics.
Admittedly, I have been punched to death in boot camp on more than one occasion.
I'll tell you what, I dread to think how big the other guy was.
Okay, so it looks like we have got some shots being exchanged from these two, but they're quite content, I think, to use their positions of cover. More rounds starting to come in now, and it does look like some knocks are being established on the guys from Phenomenal Esports. Who's that? Skyboy. Now, we featured Skyboy before on this map, and as I recall, last time we featured Skyboy on this map, he had a beautiful elevated position and made it absolute hell for people coming in.
Yes, he certainly was, and he's doing the same now. He's taken out 2 members of Phenomenal. I think it's Skyboy that's done that. They've also got a couple of players right in front, and then they've got one off to the right on the wide angle. I'm just keeping an eye on the map while you're watching this fight. So zone's about to break for phase 3 of the game, and look at that. We're going centered. Pretty much where Deathless 4 are is where we're going to be centred. So just southeast of boot camp is centre zone. So all those teams that were on the Northwest Island and down in the south, they're going to have to rotate in.
But
These guys right on the edge of zone now.
But Nemesis from Raw found himself slightly more isolated and has been taken out.
Yeah, DS are coming in to join the party.
DS Astralis also coming in. So we're here with Vanix coming into it now with, and beautiful knock established on one of the DS players. As 2 DS players knocked. Drop under the building. Beautiful work there. Does get hit for it, but that was a beautiful piece of drop under the building fire there. His teammate doing his best to try and cover him. And great work from Giant there to cover his teammate. But Vanix and Giant there doing fantastic work against DS Astralis. He was trying to push in. And yeah, I just love the drop shot and shooting under the building there. Vime style, shoot him in the feet. Show no mercy. Absolutely great stuff. Great work from these guys from Raw.
Yeah, that was really good work. Now, just on the other side of zone, B3T have been taken out. I didn't see who took them out, but I think it may have been UN from the, I think it was, yeah, UN are actually in boot camp. Have taken out B3T up on the northwest side there. They were in the warehouses. So RS still on the northwest island there. I think they're about to swim across from the very tip of the coastline.
So there is our
UN
situation. Boys and girls, we're down to 14 teams, 42 players left alive. Jamie said most people are making it into the zone. We've now got more action. Who we got over there? So is that 7, Ray? Is that 7? Yeah.
It is, but Raw have just taken out Phenomenal, who were up on the edge of Quarry. We saw with them.
Yeah.
Having taken out DS, they've now also taken out Phenomenal. So that's 5 kills now for Raw.
With a drop coming down behind the guys from squad 15. That's CX. Straight in between CX and B4V, actually.
It is. Now, that's going to probably be slightly better for B4V. I don't think CX are going to want to come out of where they are to go and get it, whereas B4V are heading in that way anyway towards centre zone. They do have the RS team, Team 22, RS2, to their east, sorry, to their northwest even. Sorry, I'm looking at it the wrong way around. To their northwest.
Yep, so we've got the players who were across on the other island. That looks like they've made their way across the river now, coming up towards boot camp, where our friends from UN are still establishing their strong presence. Looks like they've got one player isolated, though, who's coming under some fire.
I was about to say, it's actually the other way around. It's Harold from UN who's the one doing the firing. He's split off. There was another team, I'm not sure who it was, but there was someone else that was on the edges of boot camp, and he went out on the chase. And he's actually out being aggressive. He's centre zone now. And the rest of his team are still in boot camp on the edges of zone. But Power is actually the one that's centre zone.
It's good play. I mean, he's basically scouting out angles of possible threat to his team who are in boot camp. Scouting out on the motorcycle, making himself a nuisance by putting in long-range shots and making sure that his team are getting the information. It's dangerous play for the individual player, but it's effective.
It really is, and he's doing great work. He's taking that bike all around and about through centre zone. He's looking left, to the west and the east. He's heading over now towards the CX team, now down to the south to the CRB team. But he's just making sure that there's no one snaking around in this centre zone area. And what we'll see now is his team will join him from boot camp, and you can see them. They're coming out because he's established that there's no one snaking and hiding. That his teammates are safe to come out of boot camp. Brilliant bit of team play.
We are here with squad number 17, CRB. Now looks like they've got one knock. Looks like we've got CN1 Teletubbies up on the hill. And looks like a very, very fast dash in there. And that was almost that was don't know really what to say there, but very fast, aggressive rotation in by the CN1 player. Ultimately playing for it. We've also got elements of squad number 5, which is 1% Faith Killer.
Yeah, they're coming in on the follow-up. I think they're just out of zone. So, door taken out there. So, yeah, they're going to have to push in now.
Who else have we got there? Squad number 14, Dark Suit.
Yeah, so Hal from UN, still doing that scouting work, still moving around, just going on a wider circle each time, just working out for his team where the enemies are, to give them that picture in their mind of who is where.
Some rounds coming into squad number 5 there, and
So
let's jump to 7 Ravens.
getting involved.
Yep.
Yeah, getting involved with B4V. Out of zone. B4V now heading back in, but they're going to be heading straight into CX.
And Raw also involved on the outskirts of this gunfight. Certainly saw at least one knock or kill established by these guys. So yeah, we're to phase 4 of the game. Only 10 teams, which is interesting. 27 players left alive.
Just so you know, Hal from UN is no longer just doing a scouting role. He's actually up there putting nades, mollies, shots, anything he can into Team 5.
And our friend from squad number 15, it does get dropped and turned into a snowman. Who doesn't love that? Okay, so this is the last remaining player on his feet from CX.
Just looking at the map where we are. So Team 5 are under a lot of pressure. So a combination of Team 17, the Crazy Robot Bear, and Hal from UN, from Team 21. Hal from UN is just absolutely doing all sorts of damage at the moment. But he's finally been taken down. He was just annoying 2 different teams then.
Here we are with squad number 21. Our friends loaded up here with the is that Gilly and
I see that was it's DMR, I think, with an extended mag. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Mark 14.
Mark 14, I think. Yeah, my favourite.
Oh, yeah, like a DMR on steroids. That thing.
So our friends here occupied a position centre zone, but there's a lot of gunfire happening out at the periphery. Let's jump into with Skyboy here. Now, let's have a look. He's got one teammate knocked. Giant still on his feet up there. Now, these guys find themselves outside of circle, and they know that they've got opposition in the direction they need to travel. So they're going to face a very tough rotation coming in. We're down to 6 teams and 12 players left alive. Phase 6 of the game.
Yeah, you see Team 14 in the background there. Clutch God just got the revive on his teammate, Agent 47, as you're going to call him.
Yeah.
Now, they just took down a team, and there's only 2 of them remaining, but them taking down the team was really important because it's just them and RS in that southwestern side of zone. Everybody else is on the eastern side.
So here we are with our friend from squad number 18. Teammate has been knocked, but heading over. He's popped smoke. Raw also still getting well and truly involved in this fight. Skyboy still up on his feet. And Team 21, that's 9 kills established for these guys. There's now down to a duo.
So we saw these guys, they went to boot camp and then they controlled that zone. They were actually driving around looking for people, just getting the information for his teammates there. So Hal, who's the one that was doing that, has been taken down.
Okay, so these guys establishing themselves a presence edge of the circle. They know they've got players coming from the blue, though.
Land looks like just been taken out by Vanix, who's actually gone down to play zone.
Yeah, Vanix went down to play zone, so he's going to manage to get the revive on his teammates. So we're down to 4 teams left alive. So that is our
47 putting a molly down onto the player from CRB there, just slightly overthrowing it.
So that is our situation. So we've got 2 teams, 14 and 18, trying to establish a presence on the high ground. We've got 1 player from CIB, isolated, well, only surviving player there. And we've still got the 2 players from squad number 21 in the lower ground, laying down smoke and trying to move their way uphill. So we're down to 7 players left alive, 4 teams, and we're in phase 7 of the game.
Yeah, Team 18 are the ones out of zone at the moment. They're the ones under pressure. Everyone else is either in or on the edge of zone.
So here we are with Clutch God from squad number 14. That's DS. knows he has players off to his left. Blue is now starting to push, so one way or another he's going to have to jump onto his feet. Instantly gets knocked there. And that has cleared out a number of players.
Yeah, we've gone down to 3 teams now. That took them out very quickly. So CRB, RS, and UN.
So our friend here from squad number 18 doing his best to get his teammate up, but getting pushed on by the 2 players from... And what a beautiful nade. What a beautiful nade there from Wu. Absolutely doing the business. So that has knocked it down to a 2-on-1 coming into the final stages of the game, CRB and UN. And he did have a look at him there. But I think
2
we're good.
meters out of zone.
Here we go with the and you've got to give it to this guy. He's not going out without a fight. He's managed to drop. He's dropped them both. He's dropped them both. What an incredible piece of play.
What a finish. What a finish. I did not see that coming. I thought he was going to get taken down while he was still laying down. But wow.
Absolutely shredded them at the end there. I have to say, in my mind, I was calling that for UN. I thought they've got position, they've got numbers here. Especially up close and personal, somebody with a Mark 14, you're thinking that's going to prove to be too strong. But what a piece of individual skill from the player from CRB there. Absolutely stunning work to take the win in style with 5 kills.
CIB, I wish I knew how to say your name because I would be shouting it.
I really,
was epic.
I really don't, but I'm just going to call you Legend there, buddy. Just Legend. Okay, dude? So from now on, you're referred to as Legend. So CRB take the win with 5 kills. In second place, UN, who had a magnificent game. Really did play very, very well. They take second place with 12 kills. And in third place, we have 3, actually, from RS, doing very, very well. And they pick up 6 kills. So plenty of people with 4 kills. We've got Valix there from Raw. He picked up 5. And is there any more than 5? I don't think so. But, what a conclusion to game number 3. We said that we've had exciting games, and we certainly weren't disappointed in game number 3. So we're going to take a very, very short break, and then we're back for a bit of post-game analysis. We will both see you very soon. Bye for now. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. And what a game in game number 3. Well, games 1 through 3, frankly. A little bit quiet to start with. We didn't get the expected action in and around Paradise Boot Camp, Painan. But certainly some very exciting gunfights all the way through. Yes, certainly some great work going on from UN. Especially with spotting going around, very aggressive gameplay. I think they were our they were our team kill leaders in that game. But that ultimately came down to the gunfight at the end there, and what an absolute finish. I don't know how to pronounce your name, my friend. I don't, but legend, whoever you are, clearing up those last 2 players, that was an incredible piece of gunplay. Very exciting stuff all around, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm sure some other stuff happened in that game.
Yeah.
But let's
Lots
be
of other
honest,
stuff.
we're thinking about the 1v2 at the end.
That was something else. That really was. Thankfully, we actually did manage to catch that really nicely on stream. So, normally, one of the things I tend to do when I stream is when you get into a situation final circle like that, you want to be guaranteed of getting the kill shot. So, what you actually do is focus on the single player, because if they get taken out, you're guaranteed the kill shot. Whereas if you focus on one of the players from the team with more numbers, you might miss it. And that's 9 times out of 10 what happens. In that particular case, I'm happy to say the guy that I focused on was the guy who actually took the final 2 kill shots and did it in spectacular style to get the win there. That was just some really exciting stuff, Jamie.
It really was. And we saw some great gunplay all the way through, and we saw some teams with some high kill counts. As you said, unusual to see nobody dropping down boot camp originally. We only saw 1 team in Painan to start with, but gradually people found each other and then they started shooting each other.
Yeah,
as we hope.
Shout out to a few teams. Orion Nebula taken out quite early on, but that was a fantastic fight. Or were taken out, but I think it was Phenomenal Esports, wasn't it? And also Raw again, proving to be the class act that they are. Coming in, we're featuring very heavily, lighting up the kill count. Got to give a massive shout out to the guys from UN though. They're although they did have that sort of safe position in boot camp, certainly not playing it safely. That great work from, was it Hal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who was running around on the bike. Not content to just do the spotting role, was putting down plenty of rounds, getting into the fight. That finish was.
I was watching them while you were rightly concentrating on some of the fights that were going on, and Hal from UN he got the bike. And he was cruising around and he was telling his teammates, because they didn't land at boot camp. They chose to go there. So they went to boot camp. So on the aggressive, and they were making sure, and he rode around the area, getting gradually wider circles, just making sure that it was safe for his teammates to follow and come into centre zone. And then when you switch to another fight, what he did is he actually followed up on a fight that was going on between 2 other teams. And he was there being an annoying git, basically. He was putting in shots, putting in nades. He was taking chunks out of both teams. He was getting knocks on both of them. He did get taken down eventually, but I would love to see his damage stats.
Yeah, they were probably pretty good. And also got some great nade work at the end there. We saw some aggressive pushes coming in. Astralis, they went in for a push and got ruthlessly wiped out as they came in to do so. That was. I'm not going to lie. That was that one for me was all about the finish there. That was a phenomenal piece of gameplay. Really was. Okay, well, it should only be about a minute or 2 away from the lobby. We're back on Erangel for game number 4. And if it's anything like games 1 through 3, I'm sure we're going to have a very exciting conclusion to our event of Scrims with TipTop Esports. It'll be. We'll just have to see where we end up for our flight line. But certainly, I have to say, Jamie, we've had an exceptional lobby of players this evening. They're certainly keeping us entertained.
Oh, totally agree. We've seen some of the best gameplay and best overall games. I think that if you take all the games so far, It's been one of the best evenings we've seen for TipTop, and we've seen some really high standard of gameplay over the weeks that we've done TipTop.
Absolutely, we just haven't had a dull moment. It's literally been from jumping off the plane in game one, and it just hasn't stopped since.
Whether you want things like, the things that I love, like the tactical, strategic play, looking at where players are moving, taking wide angles, whatever it may be, providing good support, or just straight up gunfighting. We've seen some amazing examples of both.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's been a lot of fun. These people do like shooting at each other, don't they, Jenny? Okay, so we're not too far away from game number 4. And I'm absolutely certain we will no doubt have more madness and great fun. Okay, we're on the plane.
And it's our first ordinary flight line.
Well, that pretty much cuts the main island in two. So anywhere really that you'd want to go is within range to a certain extent. And certainly if you grab jump on a vehicle, which most of these teams will, potentially you might get somebody heading down to Mill Base via a car. But I would imagine we're probably going to get Farm Milter and probably around North George, Yasnaya and Rojok.
Yes, I mean, most places going to be in well in range. I'm sure we'll see the same teams going down south towards Millie Base. We didn't see anyone in Novo Crate, so I'm sure we probably won't this time, even though last time they flew straight over it. Going to be interesting if we see more teams up in the likes of Yasnaya. Well, we had last time.
Yeah, I mean, it does tend to be quite popular, the Rozhok Yasnaya. I find it very exciting on this map where Final Circle tends to bisect that river up there. That makes it some very exciting gameplay.
It certainly does, yeah.
Okay, so most of our players off the plane now, and looks like, yep, we've certainly got at least 2-3 teams heading towards the George Pol area.
OP landing at the northern edge of the Western Bridge, grabbing vehicles because they're the ones that dropped straight into Millie Base last time. And we got the same first zone as we had in game 1.
So B4V on the ground and already loaded up, starting to put some rounds in. They've landed the hospital area. So let's have a look, and yeah, pretty much identical circle, Jammy. So the teams that have dropped up to the north, we've got 7 Ravens up here. They've gone for a long drop towards Kameshki. And they also have somebody else with them, don't they? Let's have a look.
DS, by the looks of it, I think. Yeah, Astralis up by them. Now, what is really interesting with this is we got the same first zone as game 1, but a very different flight line. So instead of everyone being in and around the Millie Base and around the bridges, everyone's going to have to rotate in relatively late compared to game 1. So this is the time to camp a bridge.
Well, that was certainly a strategy that we saw employed in game number 1 to very good effect, I have to say. Looks like we've got a couple of early kills there. Now let's have a look. We've got RS. Looks like they're right on top of.
Well, there you go. Akbar being taken down already from DS.
So, yep, DS.
Well, the other DS teams. Sorry, we've got 2 DS teams, and they're different teams. So Dark Soul, Team 14, apologies, and the other one is Team 8, Astralis.
Astralis, DS Astralis, yep. Although, no, it's not, is it? No, it's not. Also got, who we got? Squad number 22, that's RS2. And looks like one of our players has become isolated and instantly dropped and thirsted up.
That was pretty brutal there. No messing around for Akbar on that one. Having been knocked, he's been revived and repaying his team a favour.
Nades coming in now. And Akbar taking some rounds through the window there. Had a quick peek, but they certainly had the measure of that window. Looking to gain some height up on the roof. Teammates coming under pressure. He's off the roof. I don't think he's going to be able to get to his teammates in time. So 2 teammates knocked. He's managed to get to 1, but I think he's going to get pushed on very aggressively here. And yeah, some great work from the guys from squad number 22 there, RS2. Really doing the business. They did lose a team member going in, but that's 3 kills for these guys established early game. Pretty ruthless stuff. Well pushed, guys. That was fantastic to watch.
That was a very good push. They knew where the player was. They knew he was going off for his knocked teammate, and they had to get there quickly. So teams are gradually starting to make their way south now. We've got OP have taken their position as they did in game 1 on the mini base.
Okay, we're here with 7 Ravens. When it stops, come on.
Oh, that's up in Kameshki, isn't it? So these guys are the ones that jump furthest north. They're under the most pressure to loot up and get a vehicle quickly.
What is happening? Come on. Oh dear. Right. I haven't had one of these for a while.
Yeah. So nice little pause in proceedings. Well, don't worry, nothing's actually happening. No one's killing each other.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just so you know, what we've got on the eastern Millie Base Bridge, we've got the CX team have made their way over to the south. We've got Roar at Milta. Vixard are coming over to try and join them on the northern side of the Millie Base. It will come back, don't worry. And then we've got CRB as well coming in as well. So that northern side of the eastern Millie Base Bridge is starting to get very busy. And I think we're going to have the same on the western bridge as well. So B3T are starting to take their position on the bridge. They've got 1 player there and the other players are following up from the northern side. However, coming in is Team 10, the 1% team. They're coming as well. So we're going to have a bit of contact on the western mini base bridge on the northern edge. Teams are deciding, are they going to go west or east? They are gambling that it's going to go, the zone is going to go south once again, like it did in game 1.
Okay, sorry for the game freeze, guys. Hopefully it will sort itself out in a minute. Come on. Right, yeah, I'm going to try and sort this out. Jamie, if you can just let people know what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah, okay, so over on the eastern side, we have got CRB in a bit of a fight at the moment over there with Raw. In fact, it looks like Raw have taken down one of the players from CRB already. Northern side of the eastern mini base bridge, Raw have taken it. But in fact, is that CRB? I'm just trying to see. So team 12, team 17. Yeah, Crazy Robot Bear. Now, at least one of the players has managed to get on a buggy and go round the blockade. Vixard have made their way across to mini base as well. CX are already there. So all these teams are now gambling that it's going to go down to the mini base, the same as game 1. B3T getting involved in team 5, 1% Faith Killer, who have made their way over to the bridge. On the western side, we've got the 1% QX2 team are currently holding a position on the northern edge of the western bridge. So over in Milton, we've got the CM1 team, I think that is, TipTop Teletubbies, and Team 11, the KK team, are getting involved over by Milton. And welcome back to Vimes. He's back in the land of the living with us. He's fed the hamsters and they're powering up the broadband nicely.
I hate it when it does that. I haven't had one for a long time.
It has been a few weeks, actually, hasn't it? Oh, more, I think.
Yeah, I haven't had one for
Been
months.
very reliable recently.
I was starting to say nice things about the people at Tencent, and I'll take it all back now, you bunch of loons. Okay, so we have 56 players left alive. 16 teams still contesting. We are phase 1 of the game still. Thank you for that, Jamie, covering that. So we've got most people, and a lot of people have headed across to Millbase Island. They simply don't want to get caught out in this potential bridge camp situation.
No, they saw what happened in game 1, and they're assuming that the zone is going in the same way. Now it's going to be really interesting if it stays on the mainland up in the north.
Well, that is the thing. I mean, that is a gamble, isn't it? Because it's got to break for you. So Zay here putting some rounds into Skyboy there very effectively.
Skyboy, yeah. So Raw not having a great time over there. They've managed to get 3 kills so far, but Skyboy has been taken down. I think his teammates are going to be able to get over to him for the revive, but CM1 putting in some good work.
Yep.
So we are going to have a milli base finish.
Giant doing the business there, getting the smoke out, should get the res on the Skyboy. And it's certainly going to be a mill base finish. So these guys who took the risk early to come across here certainly made the right call.
So yeah, so the teams that gambled once again, they've got even more teams than game 1. So the northern edge of each bridge is going to turn into a bit of a shooting ground at the moment.
Let's check out our friends from Vixard. They're getting into it with the guys from B3T.
They certainly are.
B3T, that looks like they've got one member knocked. Our friend Zuby here doing his best to get some meds in, whack some smoke out. Vixard look like they're coming in aggressively on a push. But, yeah, putting some rounds through the windscreen there with the M4. Well played.
Yeah, so being defensive but aggressive at the same time. So not a passive defence.
No, I don't think...
making sure that he puts some rounds back in.
I don't think you can call unloading a mag of M4 at someone too passive, generally.
No, definitely not.
I mean, if that's your definition of passive, then I'm loving passive. I mean, that's great. Yeah, cool.
So KK joining the fun over on the Eastern Bridge
and
as well.
It looks like these guys are looking to rotate out. Probably the right call.
Definitely, yeah. So they live to fight another day. They're going to head further towards centre zone, actually, as they go further south.
But that's going to bring them into team number 5.
Oh, the angry New York taxi there. I love that.
Yeah. So that's the 1% Faith Killers. They're establishing their presence in Millbase. Probably not a bad call. B3T, not too far away.
Now, a team we've covered before over on the Western Millie Base Bridge, Team 9, B4V. They jumped as a 3. Now, Knight has been knocked. Holu putting in some shots, trying to get
come on.
To his teammate.
What is wrong with this today? We've had absolutely nothing wrong all night, and then for some reason it just will not play in game number 4.
It doesn't like tonight, does it? So Knight has now been revived, by the way, by his teammate Papa G. So these guys now going back on the push again. So they're just out of zone. Zone starts roughly at the bridge.
Our friends from squad number 10 here. Under the pressure somewhat here. Nyan, his teammate is coming in, but Molly's coming in.
Ooh, that is as close as you like, isn't it?
The teammate has been knocked, and he's down to very little health here. He's going to get pushed by multiple angles, and the guys from B4V clearing up that fight beautifully. Well played. That's 4 kills for these guys.
And really, really important. You can see there how close they are to zone, but they had to clear that team just to be able to get into zone.
And that's absolutely vital for them. Now they're potentially going to get pushed on from the rear by RS, who are coming across in vehicles. So B4V may well find themselves with an opportunity to take pot shots at a team driving in to rotate. We'll just stay here for a moment to see if that happens. Other players establishing their presence in and around Millbase. Still got a couple of teams, CN1 and Raw, interestingly enough, in and around the northern end of the other bridge.
So here come the RS team.
And as predicted, hails of gunfire greet them.
They managed to avoid getting knocked though, so they
Right, sorry to jump away from that one. We don't normally like to jump away mid-fight, but it looks like we've got all kinds of things happening here.
Yeah, up on the Eastern Bridge. That's where a lot of teams are at the moment. We've got, what, 4 different teams over on the eastern side. Raw, KK, CM1 and 7 Ravens.
So, Skyboy trying to put some rounds towards squad number 11, KK. But it looks like 7 Ravens also getting into it. 2 of their players knocked. 3 of their players, in fact, now all taken out. So Top Boy is the only player still up and running. He's trying desperately to get out of the blue, but he's going to be running smack bang into the guys from Raw.
Yeah, so they know where the team from KK is. It took them out, but look at this. Under so much pressure from Raw, his health is going down very quickly. He needs to get out of the situation. His car's been blown. He's in a world of trouble at the moment, Top Boy.
Yeah. 3 teammates taken out very, very ruthlessly there. Left him in a terrible position, and he's, as you say, well and truly up against it. Just cannot afford. There's no cover for him to move forward into here.
And the zone has gone so much further south than before. It's centred between the base and the radio tower.
Yeah, and Top Boy taken out by Nemesis. Great play there. However, these guys still involved in a fight with the team from KK. Bang there, getting a nade towards Giant.
Yeah, Raw need to back out of this. There's no point in taking this fight on. They can just get out of this completely and just get over the bridge. There's no one camping them.
And that's 1 player knocked now from Raw. Our friend's just going to move his vehicle into the blue. Out of the blue, sorry. Looks like he's potentially wanting to make sure he establishes. And Raw really coming under it. Our friend here also putting the hurt onto another player from Raw.
Skyboy and Vanix were over the other side of the road. They were putting some pressure onto CN1, who were rotating on the other side.
And our friend here really doing the hurt.
Beautiful fire in there. What a bit of spray that was.
That
Taking
was
out Raw.
a great push and knock and push there from Gucci Bang there, and they've really taken huge lumps out of Raw Gaming, and wow.
Yeah, they've
5
got
kill-
a little bit of time to loot, but not much.
Not
They
much.
need to get over. Now, CM1, 2 of the players have made it over to the mainland, to the island, sorry, just about. They are swimming across. It looks like Fate Lucci is still swimming, trying to get to a boat to cross over.
May well find it very difficult. That blue's coming very, very quickly now, but it does look like our friends from KK, who beautiful piece of gameplay there, managing to make it across, but they're going to run slap bang
Into SD and Orion Nebula as well. Now, I appreciate they did not have a great time of it in the last game, but we've seen how good they certainly can be, Orion Nebula.
and our friend here, the last surviving member of CRP squad number 17, KK walked straight into his position, but as you say, Jamie, Orion Nebula making their presence felt on the high ground from the rear.
Yeah, they know how to rack up a good
And-
kill count.
Oh, that was some pretty ruthless stuff.
Certainly was.
But not getting it all their own way, KK. They've got 1 guy knocked. Everybody needed to heal up a bit there.
So who else we got? We've still got 12 teams, but most of them are around the southern edge and main milli base. Everyone's going to have to rotate up north. A real switch, this one, a real hard shift of zone.
And now then, this is going to be interesting because Got a little bit of a slight split here. But they're yeah. Who have we got trying to push in? That's squad number 16, CN1. Yep.
They rotated in from the water. They managed to get 3 of their 4 players across.
Also got the guys from KK still coming under some pressure from Orion Nebula. So here we are in phase, last 18 seconds of phase number 4. We're down to 12 teams left alive, 39 players.
So CM1 make it to the edge of the zone. We've got KK, CM1, Orion Nebula and RS over on the northern side. Everybody else, the other 8 teams are all on the southern side. Really going to start getting congested as they make their move up.
And Orion Nebula is still involved. Well, they're basically involved in 2 gunfights, so we've seen them do it before. They've got CN1 to one flank and KK off to the other. We've also got teams coming in from the south. But yeah, I mean, hardly ever get a mill-based finish, Jammy, and all of a sudden we've got 2 in one night.
We have, and they're not far off the same positions as well. Up on that hillside in the north at the moment. And we are going to be near enough the same position. So
we're phase number 5 now. B4V find themselves in a fight with UN right on the edge of circle here. And Hailu gets knocked. That's Knight is the only person up and running, and they've now been taken out. Vixard also trying to establish a presence at the southern end of zone, but they know they've got at least 2 teams around them.
Well, as it stands at the moment, nobody is in zone. So zone is straddling the road on the eastern side of the Millie base. So we've got 4 teams up in the north, and the other 7 are in the south of zone. Nobody quite establishing a position in zone just yet.
So we're here with squad number 5, 1% Faith Killer. Certainly under pressure here, 1 knocked. Other 2 teammates dead. And again, right at the edge of the blue here. Has got to start making a move, but knows he's got guns all around him. I'd be tempted. Well, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. You're thinking sort of blaze of glory moment, aren't you?
I'm thinking get in the vehicle and crash something fast. But yeah.
There we go. So Team 22 RS have made their way just to the western edge of zone. Now up in the north, we've got CM1 and Orion Nebula. They are going at each other. They've got knock players on both teams.
So here we are with still from Orion Nebula, who we saw do great things in game number 2. 1 teammate knocked. He's got Rex also still on his feet.
They're trying to make up for game 3. They've got 8 kills so far, but they're going to have to go a little way to recreate the epic work from game 2.
And we're here with KK. They're getting into it with B3T. Come on, stop. Oh, don't you dare.
And KK take out B3T as well. That's important. They've established a position in zone at the moment. Now they've got Wu3 from UN behind them.
So plenty going on. Lots of gunfights to try and establish position in circle. We're here with squad number 20 PHN. Vixard find themselves between 2 or 3 squads here.
Oh, it's an absolute mess down in this area. We've still got 9 teams remaining, but look how many there are down in the southern area.
And yeah, it's odd that these guys who've been taking chunks of each other out in the north might end up in a very good position. Vixard coming under increasing amounts of pressure here from KK. KK have been doing really great stuff this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're using the cover they've got, but they're having to under so much pressure. All these teams in the south.
And that's one of the KK players going down. These guys still find themselves out of circle. Everybody trying to fight their way in, but so many gunfights going on around them. There's no easy way to rotate.
That's the trouble. It's so congested. Everyone's just taking chunks out of each other before they can even have a chance to get into zone.
Vixard now coming under it. They're now out of circle. But they do manage to take out the guys, but they find themselves... They've got to move, but KK also find themselves in a position where they also have to move. We're here with our friend from squad number 22.
Well, we dropped down to 5 teams, only 4 teams, 7 players so quickly there. And look who it is, CX are in zone. They've got prime position. They've got 3 out there, 4 players still going. Everybody else is fighting their way to try and even make it to zone.
So we've got the last remaining player of CN1 out there on the edges. KK, who have had a spectacular game but have found themselves now reduced to 1. Our friend Gucci Bang here is still well outside of circle. And you have to say...
Does have a working vehicle.
You have to say this is looking very good for squad number 15, CX.
So, yeah, so CX, the last remaining real team. Everybody else, we've got a 3v1v1v1 at the moment. So CM1, KK, and RS up against the 3 players from CX who have established a position. They are really controlling.
Very much what we saw in games. Very much what we saw in games 1 and 2, Jamie. Numbers and controlling zone, making it very difficult for anybody else to actually rotate in.
Yeah, they've got a nice spread here. As long as they can control their flanks, and there we go. That's 1 taken out. So they're going to have to make sure they do the same with RS and KK now. And then they've got this game. This is, after what we saw in the last one, not going to take it for granted.
RS taken out, so
for the finish.
We've only got Gucci Bang left, and he's just been taken out. So fantastic work. Really great win from the guys from squad number 15, CX there. Fantastic zone control. So they take first place with 7 kills. In second place, KK had a phenomenal game. Really great fun watching those guys. They take second with 8 kills. And RS taking third place with 4. So we've got a couple of players there with 4 kills. Rex from Orion Nebula picking up 5. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, yep, fantastic win there from the guys from CX there. Excuse me. Yes, Jamie. Well, we had a couple of technical issues there, but more of the same, really. But it was very interesting, I think, from the perspective that the pretty much identical zones and pretty much identical finishing positions, really, not too far away. But a lot of players deciding. I mean, it was around phase 4, I think, wasn't it? But a lot of players deciding that they weren't going to get caught out by this bridge camp situation. They were getting across early, and for the teams that did make it across early, that proved to be decisive.
Totally agree. Yeah, what we saw was it was such an almost identical repeat, apart from the flight line, of course. But the first zone and the finishing zone was so close to what happened in game 1.
Yeah,
we saw more teams heading towards the bridges earlier than we did before. I think it was by about, as you say, phase 4 or so. 3/4 of the lobby was on or heading towards the Millie base.
Yeah. It was. It wasn't. I mean, again, it was sort of end-to-end stuff, wasn't it? Raw getting involved a lot. KK had a very exciting game. Orion Nebula, again, they seem to do their best work when they're surrounded. But it was just so many people just trying to fight from the south there, trying to get into zone, just finding themselves completely surrounded. Vixard were involved. It just proved almost impossible, which allowed the guys from CX to take advantage of that situation, establish strong presence in zone, and then basically do what we saw in games 1 and 2 from two different teams. Effectively just make it absolutely impossible to rotate in.
Yeah, exactly that. It was not just teams being in zone, but controlling zone. And we saw they had a nice spread. They started controlling their flanks. They were taking out players. Yes, okay. They only had 3 individual players to go up against, but they still had to kill them. And they did that. They made sure they controlled it. They were in the right position. They took advantage of the position they were given and that they're done.
Yeah, it was a very exciting night of scrims.
Yeah, one of the best, I'd say, that we've covered in terms of the games and the action we've seen. Phenomenal action.
Yeah, it was. It's just been a huge amount of fun. Some great gunfighting skills. I mean, we've seen some really. I mean, I just couldn't. A, I can't remember, but B, I mean, you know, the individual gunfighting skills. There's so many great individual moments of gunplay. Certainly, one of my abiding memories is going to be that the vengeance grenade. Yes, that was that was an absolutely nearly pulled it off. I know.
So good that you've named it.
The vengeance grenade. Yeah. But the other thing as well. I mean, we had what potentially could have been a little bit of an upset game number 2 with our friend from Seven Ravens, almost putting the knock onto Raw, but ultimately Raw managing to stay up to get the win there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie, we've had 4 different winners in each game.
Yes, we've had a few teams that have been in and around the top.
Definitely,
3 or so.
Raw
Raw
in contention all the time. Seven Ravens are in contention a lot. B4V were around a lot. Ryan Nebula around a lot. Although we're taken out pretty early in game number 3.
They were, but their kill count from game 2 alone would help them along the way.
17, I believe, in game 2. Yeah, phenomenal stuff.
That sounds about right.
Phenomenal stuff. Anyway, boys and girls, I need to thank all of you for taking part. A fantastic evening of scrims. Without great players, we don't get great scrims, and you certainly make our job very easy by providing lots of excellent game footage. So thank you all for competing. I have to also thank our friends at TipTop Esports once again for putting on a fantastic event. I'd like to thank my co-cast this evening, Jamster. As always, my friend, great job. A pleasure.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Been a really good evening in scrims, and thanks for being in control of the visuals when they behave themselves.
We haven't had any problems for such a long time, and then all of a sudden it decided to kick me in the butt in game 4. Thankfully, thankfully it only lasted a few minutes, and we caught the exciting finish. So that's the important bit. That concludes our evening of scrims for TipTop Esports. Jamie and I will no doubt be back some point next week to watch you wonderful people do your very best to blow the hell out of each other, which is always hugely entertaining, I have to say. So thank you all for supporting the event and supporting the stream. Thank you to all who made comments and watched. And as always, I'm Vimes177 Gaming. Good hunting, and bye for now.